Good morning, friends. I am so glad you're here. Today we are going to be doing my favorite kind of video to do and to watch. If you're new here, my name is Melissa and this is Wild Hearts Homestead. I have two kids. I have a 9-year-old son with Angelman syndrome and I have a 2-year-old typical child. And life can be a little bit crazy around here. Things can be pretty messy, projects can take me a while, but I like to show what real life homesteading looks like and that it's not always beautiful homes and gardens pictures. It's messy and it's fun and it's beautiful. Alright, so today we are going to go all over and see what is growing. Today is April 1st. Got you. It's not. It's March 31st. But when you see this, it's going to be April 1st. So happy April Fool's Day. I am so excited, you can tell. So we're going to go looking at what everything is growing, kind of thinking through what the plan is for the year, how things are going to go. And it's so full of positivity and seeing the good stuff that's happening. We're going to mostly focus on the garden, but I will throw in a little bit of chickens in this too. The kids and I have been spending every possible moment outside lately. We've been outside so much that my poor kitchen actually left me a note. It's a bit breezy out today, so I may have to do a good bit of voiceover, but let's start with something that I haven't really shown you guys a lot. All right, here are my apple trees. I bought these last year. I have this one and that one. I bought them as a pair and they're supposed to bloom at the same time. You can see they're not. So I'm hoping that maybe some local apple trees will be able to pollinate this. We shall see. So this one is the Brayburn. And this one down here is the Crimson Crisp. They're both bought last year from Stark Brothers. I was worried this one was dead because it wasn't putting on any leaf growth and the other one was already blooming and I was a little bit worried, but it is alive. The pear tree's blooms seem like they're just about all done and we're starting to see some tiny little baby pears that will turn into full fruits once they are developed. I do also have a pecan tree and you can see that it is starting to have some fresh leaves come out. I got a decent bit of pecans off it last year. We are walking over to the berry patch of the property. Here are my blueberry bushes. You can see there's little tiny baby blueberries starting to form on there. I'm so excited for blueberries this year. Very exciting. So I've got 3 blueberry bushes. This one I purchased, they're all from clearances, but this one I just purchased last year, so this one did not bloom, but the other 2 did. And then right over here, these are the thornless blackberries. We should get fruit off of these this year. I just got those from a friend last year. And my grapevines are starting to come up. Here's my question on the blackberries though. I guess the way I can tell is that these ones don't have thorns. It's branching out, which is great. I get the wild blackberries in the yard too. They just come up everywhere, but they have thorns. So I can tell which ones are the ones I want and the ones that I don't want based on if they have thorns on them or not. So here are my 2 grapes. I think I may have taken the label off of this one. This one is a seedless grape from Stark Brothers. That one is a Concord grape, also from clearance. That one I got grapes off last year. It's still on my to-do list to do the grape trellis. I still have not done it yet. But I did get my asparagus put in the ground here. And look at these. My family made me some really cute rocks for my garden to mark where I plant stuff. So I've got all my asparagus put in here, and I have a few asparagus left over to take to the seed swap. And then I have a couple raspberries back here. These are not thornless. I haven't seen any fresh growth on this one. And this one I just put in the ground a couple weeks ago. I got this one from a trade. I don't have a whole ton going on in my back garden right now. I've got my lettuces up here that we've been using to make salads. My green onions are going to seed. There's nothing in there. I have my early Jersey Wakefield cabbages in here, and they look so good. I'm really, really hoping that they do well because I have planted these ones specifically to get seed. I have found it very helpful if I am struggling to grow something. If I let it go through an entire life cycle, that helps me immensely with knowing the signs to look out for that it's properly growing, that it's forming properly before it bolts, that kind of stuff. So if you're struggling with growing something, let it do a full cycle and see how it does. Over here, I have a few garlics in here. I had taken my garlics out to plant them, and then I don't know what to do with them. I put in snow peas all along the fence line here, and I transplanted my early grano onions in here. We're supposed to be getting a good bit of rain tomorrow, so it should water everything nicely. I still have a lot of peas I need to plant, and I never got around to planting carrots. So there is also a few strawberries in there with the cabbages. It's their first year in there, so it's not going to hurt anything, and the cabbages will be gone by the time that they are running. And I've got a few more strawberries over here. My daughter is having a great time playing with the painted rocks. So this year has been a lot about experimenting with the cold crops. Cold crops is not my strong suit. I feel very confident and like I do a very good job with the summer crops, things that like the heat where I live in South Carolina, but those cold weather crops I struggle with because our heat fluctuates so much. It can be 26 degrees and then 75 degrees in the same week. So one thing I am trying out is I planted some lettuces, a purple cabbage, and some broccoli in a part of my garden that I have not planted vegetables in before, but it only gets morning sun and that's it. So I'm wondering if that will help keep the lettuce from turning bitter by having more shade, and also help with the cabbages. So that is an experiment for this year that we're trying out, and we will see how that goes. I'm going to show you the herb garden next, my tea and herb garden. I think right now that is my favorite part of the garden because it is requiring the least amount of work, and it's just kind of doing its thing and coming back up, and I haven't really had to do anything to it, so that's cool. These are my tea plants, the Camellia sinensis. I'm not sure how to say that exactly right, but the ones that you make tea from. I got these from Table Rock Tea. I love them. They're amazing. And I would love to get some more tea plants. I was hoping they would make seeds and I could grow more and have a whole entire hedge the whole way along the walkway. But for right now, I just have these two. The irises are blooming beautifully. This purple color is so pretty. The elderberry did not get pruned. I just ran out of time with the weather being really warm this year, so I did not prune the elderberry. It's already very tall, so I may need a ladder to be able to get up there when there's fruit. I have in the herb garden also I have catnip, which the cats have been enjoying. I have my little Japanese maple, which also really needs to get pruned, which I may come out and do that anyways, even though it's already getting leaves. My thyme is starting to flower. I haven't preserved this. I just snip it off and use it. I've got a rosemary back there. My bee balm was starting to come up back there, but I think my chickens got to it. So we will see if the bee balm comes up. If not, there's still a bunch of seeds on there that I didn't take off that I can use to restart the bee balm. There is sage over here. All of this stuff overwintered. I didn't do anything to protect it. I just left it out here and it was totally fine. The oregano is spreading. I was totally fine with the oregano spreading. If I don't like it, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but it's spreading on its own. And I need to harvest some because I just used the last of my dried oregano. These are fennel. I have not tried eating the bulbs yet, but we're gonna try that this year. I did use the seeds to make 5 spice seasoning to make my favorite recipe, which is a Vietnamese beef stew called bò kho. And I could also be butchering that, so bear with me. But you can eat the bulbs also. My violet is looking awesome. There's more oregano over here. This is the coneflower, also known as echinacea. I have some dried for teas, and I'm hoping to be able to split up some of the roots this year to use for teas also. And then I have one more rosemary and a mum in the herb garden. And on the other side over here, I have these plants that I got from a friend, and I have to look back up what they are because I can't remember. And the roses are starting to bloom. So here we are at the main garden. This will be completely full come summer. Right now I started putting potatoes in here and potatoes in here. I'm trying a couple different methods this year with potatoes. Half of this row is broccoli. See my super cute little stone? So half of this row is broccoli, and then that half down there, I just started putting cauliflower in. This whole row is broccoli. And almost all of this row is purple cabbage. Some of these purple cabbages got hit by the freeze that we had pretty hard, and I need to go through and see. Some of them are looking really great, and some of them are not. The wild onions are going nuts through here. They're all over the place. So I still have on my to-do list to plant more potatoes. I have a friend coming to help me plant more cauliflowers, and it's not quite time yet to start putting summer stuff in. So we'll have a little bit of a break in between the cold weather stuff and the summer stuff starting to go in. I have 2 different kinds of chives in here too. Not to be confused with the wild onions. This is a wild onion, this is the chives. So I have garlic chives and I have regular chives. There's one there. And there's one all the way at the end down there. Here's the other chives. It's starting to make some flowers on there. Alright, so the goal for this garden this year is to attach this fence to the exterior fence and remove this line. Get more mulch, lay more mulch down because it's thin in spots, as you can see from all the stuff growing up in here. And if I can get to it, I would love to start working on doing the raised bed borders around the edge of this garden. I don't know that that's going to happen. My big project this year was the greenhouse, and I still have a few finishing touches I need to do on there. We're getting some plants hardened off. I've got chamomile for the tea garden. Lots of cauliflowers. There's fennel in there. I did start some more cabbage seeds because the chart that I have says that I can direct sow them. I don't know. We'll try it and see. And there's asparagus there. And there's some dill. There's this dill back here. So in the greenhouse, right now I have, these are the Henderson pink tomatoes that I got from the seed library. My very first year of gardening, I've just saved seeds from them every year. I really like this tomato. It makes a really nice big tomato. I have bell peppers, habanadas, jalapenos, and I'm trying a couple new tomatoes this year. This one is called Champagne Bubbles. It must be kind of rare because there was only supposed to be like 10 seeds in the packet. I got more than 10, but it's like a small cherry tomato that's yellow. And then I also started some more of the Mexico midget cherry tomatoes. I really liked those. They were very tiny. They were delicious for salads. I brought out a sweet potato slip. Looks like it had a little accident. So I have sweet potatoes in my bathroom window that are making slips for me. And then I have holy basil back here and some more jalapenos. And we can't forget the Roma tomatoes. These are my sweet potato slips in my bathroom window. I just pulled these out from last year's harvest and saw they were started to grow, so put them in the window. Last but not least, this flower garden has been getting some attention. It still needs much more, but it got a good weeding thanks to my mom coming over and helping for that. And I started getting pine needles raked up and put on for some mulching for it. In that garden bed, I have irises, crocuses, daffodils. I put elephant ears in there last year, but I haven't seen them come back up. Did I already say roses? There's some roses in there. Hibiscus? No, hyacinths. Hyacinths in there. So there's a few different flowers in there. And then we will go say hi to the chickens for a quick minute. I just moved the Easter egger chicks up into the bigger coop, and they have integrated very well with my other hens. Right now we are getting just enough eggs. We are not eating eggs every day, and we're not eating them to the full capacity yet. But when these new Easter eggers start laying, we should have plenty of eggs. So I'm very excited for when we are drowning in eggs again and don't know what to do with them. So here are my new ladies and my older ladies and their new man up there. He is so handsome. One of the things on my big goal list this year is to work on this chicken coop. My original plan with this chicken coop, making it out of PVC, was that I could pull it around the yard to give them fresh grass if I needed to keep them closed up. I've kept them closed up a little bit more because there's been coyotes in the yard, so I've only been letting them free range when I'm out here. We started doing the roof, so we got that part done. So I'm thinking about framing it up and making a more solid structure and then pulling out this PVC part. It's just too heavy once you put the roof and the plywood in there to be able to pull it around without it pulling the PVC apart. So I need to do some thinking to figure out how I want to do that, but that is on the goal list also, to do all of that. I'm toying around with the idea of, instead of having the plywood there, putting chicken wire along the bottom so that any droppings will just go right through, and then it will be a lot lighter to be able to pull it. My only concern is that we can get some pretty intense winds, and that if it's cold and windy and that draft is coming up through the bottom, that might not be great for the chickens. When I'm trying to decide how I want to do something, I have a hard time seeing the full picture all the way out. I kind of have to start and see how it looks and work as I go to develop how that's going to look in the end before I can really visualize what I want to see and how I want that to happen. So it's very helpful for me to start with a small step and then move a little bit at a time as I'm progressing in a project, and just do little steps at a time over time. So this was just a really quick run through of everything that's going on in the garden right now. I am very hopeful for this year, very excited that we are going to get a great harvest and that we are going to see some amazing things happen in the garden. So I thank you guys for being here. It's always fun having your company, and I so appreciate it. It makes the days so much more pleasant knowing that I have somebody coming along with me. So I will see you guys next time. Let me know how your gardens are going. If you are starting to see things pop up out of the ground and you're starting to get excited for summertime. Oh gosh. A bug just flew right in my eyeball. It was one of those where you could like see it coming and you can't move fast enough. So anyways, that's the one thing about summer I don't like, is the insane amount of bugs. Like, we're already having to deal with mosquitoes. It's crazy. Anyways, so excited. Thank you for being here. I will see you next time.